All right, it says we're live. So
We are live.
we are live. So it's going to be a little bit before people catch up with the stream because we're about 30 seconds behind live time. But we are so excited about this, and we are so honored that we've had so many friends want to join us for the night and are excited to be here. I can't tell you how amazing this is for us. Being on the other end of the live stream so often and occasionally guests on other people's live streams, this is absolutely going to be this is humbling that so many people want to support us like this. So let's see who we have in the chat. I always wanted to say that. Oh, Blaine Raley from Raley Creative Travel, thanks so much for being here. We have Tommy Dodson. Tommy Dodson's excited to be here, not as excited as us, but very excited. Let's see, we have the incredible, the amazing, the mentor, the inspiration, the great Mark Wolters. Thank you so much for being here, Mark. Thank you so much for doing everything you do for the world of travel. We love you to death, brother. And let's see, Troy is here. Hi, Troy.
Hi, hello, hola.
Hola. Well, we are in Texas, so there you go.
Good Abend.
Yeah, that's right. Keep it clean, Troy. Thank you very much. And the great Allison Radel. Hi,
Hello,
Allison. Terry's best friend.
That's my best friend. I'm gonna send her money, and I'll send her a super chat.
Yeah.
So that I can get some more of those sour gummies that she sent me. Oh my gosh, those were so good.
Huckleberry sour gummies, just amazing. Yum. And look who we have just joined us in the chat. We have
Spaghetti Ice.
Mr. We didn't even have to say Spaghetti Ice 3 times for Darren to show up.
Yes.
Hey, Darren, love you, brother. So glad you're here. And Darren was the one that gave us the peer pressure, the inspiration, the encouragement to go ahead and start our own channel. And we were on several of his live feeds when he was here in Texas visiting us a couple weeks ago.
Yes, we were movie stars.
And
we were movie stars.
Darren's an amazing human being. I call him my brother because that's how I feel. He's my brother.
He is your brother.
So we got Stuart. Hey, Stuart, good to see you. All right. Well, I think before he says, scroll back to my comments earlier. So many comments. Okay, Darren, it's awesome to see y'all. How are they escaping this? I don't know. Welcome to live stream YouTube world. I hope that was a comment. Okay. Anyway, y'all are doing fantastic. I'm so happy everybody's here. And wow. So let's not beat around the bush here. We have some very special guests for our first live stream. We have our friends Josh and Laura Lawson. Now, I can literally say I've known Laura since before she was Laura Lawson. Josh and Laura work as private lesson teachers, same occupation that I have, and we work. We worked, present, past, future. I don't know. As private lesson teachers, but because of what's going on in the world, I haven't seen them for over a year because we teach from home now. We teach remotely. But there was a time that we would have breaks in between students, and we would just talk and about lots of times about travel. And Laura and I would talk about travel. Josh and Laura are always obviously talking about something else because when they met, they were friends. And now they're a lot more than friends, and they can tell that story if they want to. So obviously they had pretty good discussions in between classes. So I'm going to bring them into the stream. I want everybody to help me welcome Josh and Laura. Oh, hi, Ryan. Ryan Donahue's here. Thanks, Ryan. And Ronnie. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Here's Josh and Laura.
Hey,
hi, guys. Hi.
Yeah, you can one phrase word that y'all are more than welcome to say that we're stealing from our friends the Wolters World here, Mark Wolters on here, is shut up, Mark. Anytime he says anything that y'all just feel free, and everybody in the chat knows what to do when you say shut up, Mark.
Yeah, she has 2 shirts that say shut up, Mark. Hashtag shut up, Mark. So
maybe we can get one of those from you.
It's a thing. It's a thing. So, Josh and Laura, before we get started, by the way, it's a drinking thing. So, so he says, "Shut up, Mark." We have Coke Zero here. So, before we get started, I'm gonna give the floor to y'all. Let's let you introduce yourself, a little travel history, personal history. Just tell us something about either yourself or let's just go for it. ladies and gentlemen, Josh and Laura Lawson.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
So we are private lesson teachers, like the Finley said, and we did meet, through work, and so many conversations between classes led to obviously like our marriage now today. So we've been married for 2.5 years, almost 3 years.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
It doesn't
Something
feel that
like
long.
that.
So
That was a trap, Josh. You were supposed to know the exact date.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
Of course. I knew exactly. Yeah.
To the T, to the day, right? Yeah. But we travel together, all the time. With COVID-19, obviously, it's been, so many of our trips have been canceled, so it's a bummer. But we've tried to accommodate to that, doing road trips only, booking, safer areas, maybe less populated areas. So normally we go on, maybe 2 to 4 vacations each year, not, extravagant vacations, but a couple days, maybe a week. A week is pretty big for us as teachers. And so, so we really enjoy travel. That's a part of us that we say, we want to do this first and we want to go here first before we, conquer this goal in our lives. So it's pretty important to us.
Well, you're starting young, which is complete opposite of what Terry and I did. We met, we got married 7-8 months later. We had our first kid 11 months after that. And so we had to put off the travel for a long time. Y'all are doing it complete opposite. You met and you're getting it all out of the way. You're getting it all out of your system, which is just amazing.
Exactly.
You actually went to New York right before all this COVID stuff hit, right?
Right before.
How many months before all this hit did you make it to New York?
Oh, weeks. It was I actually saw on my Facebook, on my timeline, that a couple days ago, I was actually not feeling well. And so we came back from New York on February 20th.
It was after Valentine's Day.
It was after that. So it was February 20th, 21st, something like that. And then our world, shut down March 9th, 8th, 10th, something like that.
Well,
so,
also we didn't know it at the time, but it was actually here in America when we were there, but we didn't know that. Well, but we learned later, but we learned later that we got out and we're just like, man,
thank goodness.
We just got out.
Well, especially with the subways and everything, I'm sure they weren't cleaning them like they are. Nobody was talking social distancing, and everything was open, correct?
Everything was open.
Pretty much,
we saw 2 Broadway shows. We went out to eat.
Yeah.
We saw all the tourist attractions as much as we could.
Yeah, and everything was packed. And so,
It looked normal.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we're super jealous. We had plans to go to New York last year. We have plans to go to New York this year. We actually have tickets and reservations for August. But it's one thing that's interesting about the post-COVID world is how flexible reservations are. You don't see many uncancelable reservations, locked in reservations for even for planes. So we made hotel reservations, we made airline reservations, and we made airline tickets. And if we don't get to go, we don't get to go. But they were such a good price because New York, they're having to give away hotel rooms, just encourage people to book.
Right.
So anyway, Mark Walter says, fingers crossed, New York for you. Yeah, us too. And if we don't go this year, hopefully we'll go next year at the tail end of our planned Europe trip. But financially, if we can get the hotel we booked in Manhattan for $90 like we booked, it's like we gotta go.
Exactly. There's a reason to.
Yeah, and the flights were like 13,000 points, which is nothing round trip to New York. Normally those might be 30. So everything is a third of the cost. So if we can head out there and get back right before school starts in August, it'll be a nice little end of the summer getaway. Now I understand New York's hot in August, but that's okay. It's hot in Texas too. It'll probably be more comfortable there than it is here. So
exactly, we're used to the 3-digit, degrees, and up there it's not as common.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a different heat up there. I mean,
it really is.
Down here, it's so.
It's very in your face.
Face. But we went to DC in August, or what? August?
It was DC. Yeah.
And we were like, "This is great." It was 95 outside.
Yeah.
So we were like,
I saw a post on Facebook the other day of somebody who was posting is something like, okay, for all the Northerners giving the South a hard time about what happened last week, remember this. And it was something about how schools were closing because of the heat wave. It was 90 degrees up north and schools were closing. So, granted,
yeah.
some of the schools up there probably don't have air conditioning, so you gotta give a little bit of sympathy there. But just like us down here, we're not equipped for extreme weather on the cold side. Just up like their buildings are not equipped for extreme on the high side. So it's it evens itself out, and it's always easy to make fun of the other side, but both sides, it is what it is. So
definitely.
Fantastic. Wow, this is just great. We have 13 people, and we have some all-stars. So I have to ask Mark Wolters if his amazing partner in crime, Jocelyn, is joining him for the evening, or he's by himself. Jocelyn is an amazing partner, and when he started his YouTube channel, he started it without Jocelyn. And she came on a little at a time and became more and more comfortable. And she doesn't think she's good on camera. I have to tell you, she looks like a natural. Of course, nobody looks as natural as Mark Wolters. Mark Wolters is the master. He makes it look so easy. We were trying to record a video last night. We were about to, by the way, for everybody listening, we're going to be publishing a video probably Tuesday morning on traveling with credit card points, how to introduce yourself to travel using points. We prepared a script and recorded it and watched it back, and it was awful. It was terrible. It was embarrassing. I was like, okay, so we redid our method and cameras and everything, and it just really makes you appreciate. It really makes you appreciate how natural, and it makes you respect how natural Mark is. Oh, he says the great Jocelyn Wolters is there, and she says hi. Hi, Jocelyn.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough to get to see Mark and Jocelyn. They actually stayed at our house for a few days back in November. We got to show them around Dallas Fort Worth, and that was quite an honor. So he's going to be putting out a video on Dallas Fort Worth soon, hopefully soon. I'm assuming it's out there.
Peer pressure.
It's coming, peer pressure. So he has a video. I'm looking forward to seeing about the. I don't know what's going to be the. He has different topics he could use on Dallas Fort Worth. I'm not sure which way he's going to go with it, but he'll put out a DFW video pretty soon. I can't wait to see it. So anyway, let's move on to cruising. Let's the topic at hand. So real quick, one reason we thought about having y'all join us for the cruise here is because, confession time, there was a time in my life, probably the first 20 years of our marriage, that this little lady was interested in cruising. And I was a big old grump about it. I was, for 20 years, I was like, that's just not something I'm interested in. Yeah. And looking back on it, Mark says, Texas will be out before summer. Okay. So there was something that, there was something about it that just completely turned me off. And I think part of it, honestly, was the stories you hear about the drunkenness, the craziness that happened on a cruise, that happens on cruises. Part of it was, I'm a big guy right now. COVID. I'm let's just say I'm 6'8" and growing every day. And I thought, I don't know what I was thinking. I thought it'd be like a submarine or something where everything was just undersized. I was thinking the beds wouldn't fit me. I don't know. Looking back on it, I can't believe I was dumb like that. So I thought it'd be uncomfortable. I thought the sea days would be so boring. I thought the sea days, there'd be nothing to do out there. And between the expense, my size, the boredom factor, and kind of the fear of, like I was just picturing like partiers just nonstop drinking, just falling over drunk. And I'm not a big drinker at all, and I'm not comfortable around people who are sloppy drunk. So the whole atmosphere in my mind, I had built up to just not anything I wanted to be a part of. Right. So before we say the other side of the story, what happened after I actually did cruise, I remember a time, those conversations between classes where, of course, Laura, you've been cruising since you were a baby, probably, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Josh, the answer is no. So Josh, why don't you take over for a second and tell me what your preconception of cruising was before you went on the first cruise? Let's say pre-Laura. What did you think about ever taking a cruise?
Well, to be honest, it was exactly what you just said. Like, I'm dead serious, verbatim. Because I'm 6'5", so not quite as tall as you, but I'm up there. So that was my first worry of going in a confined space, and I'm just like, I'm going to have to be ducking all the time, and all that stuff. I had to do a little bit in the hallways, but that's not too bad. So anyways, pre-Laura, to be honest, I really didn't know too much about cruising, and I thought I would be bored, just like how you said, and there won't be anything to do, people drinking all the time. I'm not really a huge drinker myself. So, everything you said was pretty much what went through my head as well. I'm dead serious. So, but it's totally not like that. I mean, our first cruise was just wow.
Did anything ever beat your first cruise?
Oh dear. I guess our honeymoon.
Okay, that's right. Your first cruise was not your honeymoon.
No.
Okay, I'll give you that one. we took our first cruise, and we had probably our worst cruise director of any trip.
We don't even remember.
He was so nondescript. There was nothing special about him. Every cruise after that, we've had cruise directors that have gone from good to amazing. But because it was our first, it will always be a special place in our heart.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So, and I don't think anything will ever beat that first cruise. We came back and we booked our second cruise before we got off the boat from our first cruise.
Exactly.
We were that in love with it. So, so the opposite end of the spectrum, Little Miss Baby Cruiser there. Give us a little rundown on your history for cruising and how you talked to Josh when he expressed these doubts when the first time you said we should do a cruise, and he went,
That's exactly what happened, I think.
So my first cruise, I think I was 11, 12. I was in the 7th grade, I think. So maybe 12 or 13. But I remember it was a Thanksgiving cruise, and it was on Rhapsody of the Seas with Royal Caribbean. And I remember the first evening I got a little bit sick, but not sick, just a little bit weary of the movement. But after that, after I had a delicious dinner and I watched an amazing show, I was happy. I was happy as a clam. And so then I was sold. And so then, you go on to the next show, or you go on to the fun events they might have at the pool the next day, or I guess the evening parties in the main area, the main shopping area. They had a lot of fun stuff for kids, but we were my sister and I were the tweeners at that point, not quite, fulfilled teenagers, but not quite kids either. And so they had a lot of good things for tweeners in a way. We played a lot of pool. We did some of the pool stuff, the actual pool stuff itself. We did some of the contests because, cute kids, they win everything. So, And so, but we did that cruise, and we actually took that cruise with my family, my sister's best friend's family, and then another family that my parents were very close to. Yes. So it was a big family, not even reunion, but something of a vacation together. And so after that, we took a cruise probably every 2 years, 3 years. And sometimes my mom and I would look at cruises, and for example, my senior year, we got to do, as a senior, graduation gift, we got to go to Florida and get to know the Eastern Caribbean that we've never, going out of Galveston, you don't get to do as often. And so we went on the Liberty. It was either Liberty or Freedom, and that was the biggest ship at the time. And then I took a big break from cruising for a long time because I was in college and I was just starting, and I couldn't afford anything. And so then I meet this guy, and so I'm ooh, but vacations are fun, and I don't know what Josh knows about cruises, but I'm gonna look anyway.
It was
and so,
zero.
Yes. So basically, the way that our first cruise happened, I actually
it took a lot of convincing, and yeah, she'll say no.
Okay, so I was looking on the Royal Caribbean website for the first time in like years. I was gonna do format. I didn't know, but I booked our first cruise, and it was very inexpensive. Not gonna lie, it was extremely inexpensive. Good for I think I was like 26, 25.
5 years ago?
For a 25-year-old, two self-employed people.
Yeah.
Good for us in a way.
Yeah.
And it was an interior room with this guy, which looking back, I really shouldn't have done that, but
Hey,
we learned.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, so it was a very inexpensive vacation for a week. It was probably the cheapest 7-day vacation I've ever taken to date.
Yeah.
And so it was crazy inexpensive. And so I knew Royal Caribbean. I knew what they did. So I was like, I know what this includes. And so I basically told him one day, I was like, hi, I don't know if you're interested, but I kind of booked a cruise for us.
Surprise.
How do you feel about this?
I'm just sitting there going, okay.
Yeah, he kind of just crossed his fingers.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, oh, but snap, I have to tell his parents. I have to have this discussion. But I'm taking him on a boat in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah,
and they've never done this before.
Yeah, because I think at the time I was still living with my parents.
Yes.
First starting.
And so we were like, part of me was like, oh snap. And then I was like, well, if Josh can't go, then my mom will go with me. So it's fine. Right. So I was like, it's fine. But then he ended up taking a leap of faith and trusted me
I did.
And all that. Yes. And he really did think it was going to be it for old people.
Yes.
For retirement, not even old people, old people 80s and up, I guess. Not old. They're wise. That's how I'll put it. They've got many years.
Right. And
so he was like, well, what kind of games and what kind of activities?
Yeah, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, and I just kept telling him dining and shows. Yeah. But yeah, so and we went on our first cruise and it was a ton of fun. I think he was enlightened.
Yeah. Well, it's what surprised me was how much activity there was on the sea days. How many things there were to do, and it wasn't just drinking nonstop. We ended up on our first cruise. We kind of latched on to the house band. There was a cover band, and we would spend our evenings just watching them and putting money in the request jar, and got to talk to the band. And halfway through the cruise, I was up on stage playing bass with the band. It was so much fun.
There you go.
Which is another funny story because there was a Filipino band and everybody in the band was 5'4" or under. And they didn't realize when they invited me on stage that Mr. 6'8" just towered over them, which made it for a really funny moment. I have a picture of it. It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. But anyway, so we have a couple questions. First of all, I have I don't know if you can see the highlighted comment or not. But Raley Creative Travel, Blaine Raley says, be prepared for 8 to 10 pounds heavier when you go on a 7-day cruise or longer.
Unfortunately.
Yes.
Truer words have never been spoken. I came back from my first 7-day cruise literally 10 pounds heavier.
Yes. Yes.
I think it's all that free ice cream that you get 24 hours a day.
Free soft chocolate melting cake.
I know. And it's you're only on a cruise, for that week, that year, maybe. And so you're like, this dessert, it's not going to be here when I go home. So I just must have taken it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the same way on Royal Caribbean. We've always done Carnival. We've only done Carnival, and y'all have only done Royal Caribbean, right? That's okay. Well, this is a good conversation then. On Carnival, when you go to the main dining room, if you can't decide between 2 entrees, you just get them both.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and the portions are not small. So frequently I would end up eating 2 dinners.
Exactly.
2 dinners and 2 desserts.
Because I couldn't decide. Okay. And we had another question in here. 2 people have asked, missed the beginning of the chat. They asked where you're from. And y'all are obviously from the Dallas area.
Right.
Because we met through work. We met through schools. We're 3 out of 4 of us are public school or private lesson teachers for band programs, and that's actually how I met Terry. That's another thing we have in common with y'all is Terry was a private lesson teacher when I met her, and so all 4 of us at one time were private music teachers, or still are.
Right.
And so, okay, so let's see. The next thing we have is Allison, Terry's best friend, says y'all scared the ship is going to sink into the ocean. That's the reason why I haven't gone on a cruise. Now, I'll say this. These ships are massive.
Yes, they are.
They're floating cities, and some, as far as sinking, I can't imagine anything short of an atomic bomb sinking one of these ships.
Right.
But I do remember at one time thinking that one concern of mine was motion sick, because as I get older, I'm more prone to motion sick. I cannot ride roller coasters anymore.
Oh, no.
If I ride a roller coaster, I'm out for hours where I can't do anything.
Yeah.
So I remember being concerned about that. And one tip we got before we even started cruising, reading Facebook groups like Galveston Carnival Cruisers, somebody said, if you're worried about being motion sick, the best thing to do is get in the middle of the ship, preferably down low.
Yes.
Get a middle cabin down low, because if the ship gets rocky waters and is doing this, your cabin will be moving very little.
Yes.
You know, as big as these ships are, I will say, I remember being in the tail end of a ship. I can't remember if we were in a restaurant or something.
Yeah.
And it was rough waters, and you literally felt like you had to hold something when walking down walking down an aisle, because that tail end of the ship was just doing this. It was jacking up and down. So you won't. I'm not saying you'll never feel the ship move, but under normal circumstances, there's very little motion. And if you stay in the middle of the ship, you may never feel anything at all except a slight vibration.
Yeah, and they also have those stabilizers on the boats that if it does get rough or choppy or whatever, the stabilizers almost still make it feel like you're just still smooth sailing. I mean, we have video pictures of one night that was particularly, rough, and the seas were like, waves were crashing our waves out there, but we weren't feeling hardly anything because the boat was stabilized. So, it doesn't happen like Titanic, Allison. So I just wanted to let you know that,
Yes.
We are way past that, those days.
Allison, we'll go cruising with you anytime.
Yes.
Anytime. So Brian from BNSmithlaw, another friend of ours who's lived locally, he says he's been on 3 Disney cruises, and he's been down to Disney World close to a dozen times. The cruises are hands down our favorite Disney vacation. So he'd rather go on a Disney cruise than he would go to Disney World, which I've never been on a Disney cruise. That's high blood for me. That's but Brian, all I have to say is your son Franklin deserves every minute of it. He's got the sweetest 1-year-old in the world, just energy in life, and that kid's gonna have some amazing memories growing up of Disney cruises. Because I bet for younger crowd that is just incredible.
Yeah.
Blaine Raley says if you want an older crowd, go on Holland America, and that is exactly true.
Yes.
You, depending on what your desires are, you can approach your cruise experience by picking a select crowd. People call Carnival the Walmart of cruising, and it's true. You do. Sorry. It's true. You never heard the Walmart of cruising?
I never heard that.
Oh yeah, it is true. You're gonna have the people who don't know anything about cruising. You have some people who don't know cruise etiquette on Walmart cruising, and if you're gonna see the sloppy drunks, it's going to be on a Carnival cruise, probably.
Yes, you're going to see the people that wonder why the package that you paid for alcohol, why the bartender's not letting you get the 13th drink. You're only allowed 12 a day. I mean, that's what we've seen on some of these,
But those people are by far in the minority. And if you know to avoid like the nightclubs at night, you usually don't run into those people that much.
Right.
Let's see, a couple more questions here. Brian, free ice cream? I believe you mean included in the price. Now, Brian, you're exactly right, but here's the deal. You pay off your cruise anywhere from a year to 90 days or whatever before you get on it. When you do get on the cruise, it is nice not feeling like they nickel and dime you to death once you're there.
Exactly.
There are nickel and dime packages. Photo packages are notorious about being horribly expensive once you get on the ship.
Yeah.
Yes.
Photo. Okay, that raises another question. So thank you, Brian. What, Laura, do you find once you get on the ship ends up costing you more money out of your pocket?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I think at first was the drinks, honestly.
The drinks were kind of shocking
the
at
cocktails,
first.
yeah.
For example, if you get a glass of wine, it's maybe as little as $6 or $7.
Yeah.
But if you get a frozen mojito, it is as much as like $15.
$15, $18.
And Joshua loves mojitos. And so we were like, let's get a mojito.
Right.
And he signed the bill. And he came out and he was like, you don't want to know how much that costed. And I was like,
I would be surprised, honestly, if you know, knowing y'all like I do for years, that either one of you drank enough to make it worth getting the drink packages.
Right, we never do.
Yeah,
we never
honestly,
do.
No,
honestly, as a part of Royal Caribbean, since I've been a part of Royal Caribbean for forever, my parents basically, I was young enough to be on their membership whenever I was a kid. So every cruise they took from when I was a kid to until I was about 25, 26, until we went on our cruise, I was given points for that. And they were actually supposed to cut me off at like 16 or 18, and they just like didn't. So they said, you know what? Our bad. Here's the points anyway.
Yeah. So
we got
when we went on our first cruise, she had status, right? She was.
There's a tier system with every cruise.
Yeah. So for Royal, it's the gemstones. Like I think
like
first
diamond
is like
or gold,
emerald.
Pinnacle.
Yeah,
Pinnacle's up there. Diamond
plus.
It's a lot. And so with Diamond, you can get free drinks from a Diamond lounge or from any bar, up to like 3 drinks per person. It's either after 4 or 5 p.m. It kind of changes with the cruise. So we would always get our drinks free.
Yeah,
to be quite honest.
That's great.
Yeah, it was a huge perk.
Yeah,
so ours would be like the picture packages was what surprised us. The price of little things that you may forget, like toothpaste or something, you know, you don't want to forget a toiletry and have to go to their store and buy it.
I bring up face wipes and it was awful.
Yeah,
it was like a $30 bottle of facial cleaner.
Oh yeah.
Oh my.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
You got to take off because it's gross.
So Blaine Raley makes a comment here, making lemonade out of lemons here. Says, with the ship's motion and rocking, that makes the best sleep.
They're not wrong. Yeah.
And you do get used to the motion, the little vibration, and after a day, you don't notice it until sometimes you get off the ship, and then all of a sudden you still feel like you're doing this.
Exactly.
Your body gets so acclimated to it, and our friend Machae feels the same way. She likes the rhythm rocking at night. It's like being in a baby bassinet.
Yeah,
that's another thing too. I'm like you, Mark. I can get very bad motion sickness. So that was another thing that was like, I don't want to cruise.
Right.
But I got used to it. It was fine. So
well, not to toot my own horn too much, but I do remember in those breaks between classes, I sent y'all a video from our first cruise to try to show you I made a video compilation of our first cruise. I sent it to you to show you what a good time we had on ours.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember that or not, but it was I was on Laura's side trying to make you a convert. So
well, and I don't think we'll ever turn back. We're cruisers for life.
That's great. So sometimes it just takes a good woman to pull you over to the dark side.
Yeah, I need a good woman to please.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll take it.
What pulled me over was Terry and I want to do something special for our 20th anniversary, and she's been an amazing wife for all those years, and I figure I had run out of reasons to say no. And even if it wasn't my first choice for something to do, I said, we need to do this. I need to do this for her because, this is something she wants. So I actually contacted Carnival, I believe, without even telling you. Wasn't it a surprise?
Yes, I think it was.
Yeah.
We kind of sort of talked a few years before because we happened to be in Galveston for one of our other anniversary, 18th anniversary.
17th, I think.
17th, 18th anniversary. And we were over on the island where the submarine and all that kind of stuff. And here comes a cruise ship that was leaving out of port. And we looked at it and I went, we went kind of like, wouldn't that be cool for our 20th anniversary? To be on the other side, be on the deck of the cruise ship, looking out, passing the. So yeah,
you're right about that.
That's what we ended. That's how that
right
actually.
And I filed that away in the old memory bank And 3 years later, I was on the Carnival website, and I don't even know. I guess I was signing up for something. I wasn't signing up for a cruise, but I filled out some personal information.
Right.
The next day, I got a call from one of their vacation planners. They called me, even though I was just browsing their websites. Like, well, first, they're like, "Don't call me. That's personal." I actually talked to them and got some good information from the person. He answered a lot of my questions. I felt good enough about the cruise that I can't remember if I booked it without telling her or I said, "Hey, guess what I want to do?"
Guess what I want to do, yeah. I think that's what it was. I don't think it was a complete surprise.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't spend that kind of money without talking to you about it, even if it was for you.
Yeah.
So, question from Tommy Dodson. Thank you, Tommy. Question to Josh and Laura. Are you going to try other cruise lines or stay with Royal Caribbean to gain status?
Good question. Well, we'll probably get into this a little bit later, but I think Mark and Terry know this. Laura is a travel agent, right? She got her travel. Is it license?
It's like basically I work with Expedia Cruises.
Certification,
and so it's it's some education behind it.
Yeah.
And with that education, you get certified to say, hey, Princess Cruises is doing this, and hey, you can sell this, and so actually with certain cruise lines.
So she completed her certification or whatever she had to do, and they offered her a free one?
A free cruise with
Princess Cruise.
Yes.
Wow, which is,
cool.
by the way, for those who don't know, Carnival and Princess are the same company.
Right.
Princess is the next level, or maybe a couple levels above the Walmart,
Exactly.
kind of like Target or Foley.
Maybe.
It's definitely the next status above. So, but same company. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. So to answer that question, yes. Me personally, I would love to try more cruise lines, but I think we're going to be with Royal Caribbean for mostly.
I think if we think of our Royal Caribbean kind of like our home anchor, we know what to expect from Royal Caribbean.
Yeah.
And then Princess is like a topper for that free cruise, or maybe we want to upgrade to a seat or something for a fee and whatnot. Make it fun.
Argue about a free cruise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Machae agrees. She said it is the Walmart of cruising.
That's okay. Walmart gets the job done.
That's
Right.
She said, out of Los Angeles, Carnival weekend cruises are called the Booze Cruise. Thank you, Machae. Machae brings up a very good point.
Yeah.
Walmart has 3 and 4 day cruises, long weekend cruises.
Walmart.
I mean, same difference.
Right, there you go.
So Carnival has weekend cruises, and when you see the people that are going just to get sloppy drunk, it's going to be on the short cruises.
On the short cruises.
Yeah, we have taken one 4-day cruise, and we did notice that the 4-day cruise was the one that people went the craziest. You get the 7-day cruises, people aren't going to drop $2,000-$3,000 just to get stupid drunk.
Right.
$800-$900 on a 4-day cruise. That's when they'll get stupid drunk. So they're going just to get sloshed. Exactly. So if you are worried about that on the cruises, pick at least a 7-day cruise and not the weekend cruise if that's the concern. Let's see. Ryan says I've done a couple of Norwegian cruise line cruises, not quite Walmart, not quite the high end. Yeah, I think there's high end cruising like Cunard and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
They do all these transatlantic cruises and they're so awesome. Queen Elizabeth and they're just gorgeous. Yeah, we've looked at that.
Queen Mary and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Blaine Raley commented, casinos for those who gamble always cost people more. Now, have y'all ever spent any significant time in casinos on cruise ships?
If you consider 1 to 2 hours.
We have a little story about that.
Okay.
It's not too bad, but since we're on the topic, so I think it was
our first or second cruise.
First or second cruise.
One of those.
And so I never really gambled. I always did like the
slot machine.
The free PokerStars.net sort of stuff.
Just online.
I've always done that just to have fun or whatever. So I had no idea how to gamble. So we went through the casino one day. I think it was on a sea day. We were just kind of walking around. I think maybe coming to see the menu in the dining room because she likes to do that.
Oh yeah, got to know what to be prepared for.
Yeah, she's got to get ready for it.
Foodie problems,
And I was kind of like, I saw I think it was a blackjack table, and and I saw no one there. I'm like, okay, I'll try a couple of hands, and then I won the first hand.
A good amount of money.
Yeah, I think I won like $50 the one hand, and then I lost it in like 2 hands later. And I was like, so.
And I remember between slot machines and blackjack.
Yeah.
And we won like close to $200, and then we were like, yeah, sure, we'll keep going. Oh, it ran out real quick.
Yeah,
we ended up at like $10, and I was like, okay, we're just gonna cut this off.
A lot of people have their limits. Like, I'll take $50 to Las Vegas, and I will have as much fun as I can for $50. But they have enough willpower that once that $50 goes out, they're done.
Exactly.
Mark and Jocelyn Wolters just went to Las Vegas, and Mark's not a big gambler, and I think he said he spent $5 on gambling. It was yeah. So if somebody can go and enjoy themselves with that kind of self-control, good for them. That's great. I tend to avoid the casinos because I don't like the smell of smoke. Yeah. And I don't know about on Royal Caribbean, but on Carnival, that's one of the only places on the entire ship you can smoke. It can get pretty unbearable, especially on the Walmart of cruising ships.
Yeah, especially since that's usually where you have to walk through to get to most of the other things on the ship.
Some of the other places, absolutely. Ice skating rink, photos, something, absolutely.
But thankfully, it wasn't very busy, so there wasn't a lot of people in there.
Yeah, and for Royal Caribbean, they tend to have the smoking area in the slot machines, and so if you're playing Texas Hold'em or blackjack or anything like that, they're separated, and so the people who are sitting there for many minutes or an hour, they aren't as exposed to it unless you're voluntarily going to the slot machines for a full hour or something.
Yeah. Right. So, but for those listening who may not be familiar with cruise ships, mostly cruise ships are smoke free. There are certain decks, certain rooms that have their smoking are allowed.
I don't even think any of the rooms are. It's just
I say rooms like the casino. That's what we're talking about. Yeah, but no smoking on the balconies. It's very tightly regulated. But the casino is one place that you're never gonna get rid of smokers in there, because the cruise ship makes so much money off of the casinos that they will never ban smoking because they would drive away a lot of the people who gamble.
Yeah, sure.
Our friend Brian brings up the cruise ships have too many upcharge restaurants, which is true. We our first cruise we tried the fancy steakhouse on Carnival, and it was okay. It was a New York style steak. I mean, it's like
$35 a person.
Yeah, $35 a person. And it's like, okay, I didn't like it as much as we would have liked a Texas style steak like you might get in Fort Worth or Dallas. It was okay. It was a little bland. And honestly, we haven't even thought about doing it since then.
Right.
And I'm sure Royal Caribbean has their own upscale restaurants too.
Yes. We've actually never gone to any of them.
Well, that's not true.
Wait,
our family groups. We went to Sabor, I think.
Oh yes, we went to Sabor.
Sabor?
So Sabor is a Mexican restaurant, which we went to with our family because we took a family cruise.
Both of our families went.
Yes, and we got the Lawsons hooked on cruising, which was nice. Yes. But we found this good Tex-Mex place. It really was like Tex-Mex.
A little more upscale Tex-Mex, I think. Yeah.
They had very good margaritas. So there's that. But I remember the bill being.
I didn't even see it.
I mean, I think our dad split it between. Rooms, to be honest.
That's what dads are for.
Well, and both our dads are very much into Tex-Mex, very much into Mexican food.
It had to be at least.
Oh, I'm thinking it was like 6-8 people.
Yeah, geez.
It had to be probably 150
at least.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it was delicious, but
that's true. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Cruise lines, do have upscale. Well,
options.
Upscale restaurants that do cost extra. So yes.
Yeah, I know April was tempted on one cruise we took. She had to walk through every time a sushi restaurant.
Oh yeah, she wanted to try the sushi.
And it's like sorry, honey.
Yeah, right. It's like they plan it that way,
On one of our cruises, there was an Italian place that was a paid restaurant at night, but for lunch they sold these little pasta bowls. And they were delicious. It was free for lunch.
Yeah.
And you could get a pasta bowl with all the special Italian sausage and all the special meat. And it was delicious.
Okay.
Absolutely amazing. It was free for lunch, but to get a similar meal at night, it would have cost money, and we didn't do that.
Exactly.
So, I will have to say, Carnival gets a bad rap for a lot of things. They really upped their game in so many ways in the last few years. They have a seaside barbecue place. Is it Guy Fieri or?
Ooh.
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
They're only open on sea days, and it's one of these ones that you have to go outside on one of the decks. It's not an inside, so you have to know that it's there, which we didn't. We found it on the first cruise, but
it's only been our last 2 cruises.
Okay, yeah. And so first time a lot of people didn't know about it. Second time more people knew about
Secret's
it.
out,
Secret was out. That was really good.
So when you embark the ship and maybe your room's not ready yet, everybody else is up on Lido deck getting the buffet. We knew to head for the barbecue place, which is on like deck 5 outside. And it was amazing. And by the end of the cruise, on the last sea day, everybody had found it. The place was packed. So you got to go first. Let's get some more questions here. Allison had to run. Sorry, Allison, you couldn't stay longer, but she'll listen to it later. Machae says, we don't usually choose specialty dining. However, I want to try Wonderland. Have you tried it? I don't know what Wonderland is. I'll let y'all handle that because you obviously do.
Royal Caribbean. It's a Royal Caribbean like specialty. It's basically Alice in Wonderland plus food.
It's that kind of theme.
It's so cool.
It's not Disney though.
They have they have these like really scientific ways of presenting their food.
Yeah.
And we've never been there physically because I don't think we've had like.
It's not.
It wasn't pre-COVID, or maybe we didn't take a cruise that on a big ship that had it.
I don't think we were on a ship that offered that.
So. I think it's Quantum of the Seas and up, or that Quantum, class.
Right.
And we've never been there, but we've seen videos of people who have.
It looks great,
and it looks super awesome. I mean, it's an experience. I mean, the dining is, the food is great, I'm sure, but the experience itself is looks like the fun part.
Right. Let's see. Blaine says, I have a Princess Cruise waiting for me for my TA certification as well once we get back to cruising. That's awesome.
Right,
so that is great. Trying to cycle through the comments. We've got a lot of comments here. Stuart Ross, my mom and dad booked a Norwegian cruise 2021 at the same cost for an all-inclusive holiday in Europe.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Now, speaking of Europe, they do have cruises that go around the Mediterranean and through the English Channel and things like that. We actually had one booked, but then we realized that by stopping at some of these ports along the Mediterranean, there's so many places in Europe you don't get to see. And the big places like Rome that you do get to see, you're only there for 10 hours. So I personally would not recommend it, and obviously we didn't do it ourselves, recommending that be your first trip to Europe, because you're going to feel like you're missing out on Europe. And thanks to Mark Wolters showing us that you can travel through Europe, even as a novice. He gave us an education through his YouTube videos on, he took the intimidation out of the language barrier, the train barrier. We're from Texas. We don't take public transportation. What do you do? So Mark did a fantastic job, even before he knew me, of educating me on how the first timer can travel through Europe. So we decided not to. We honestly did the cruise out of a safety issue, not safety as in our own well-being, but our own fear of not being afraid of the language barrier, being afraid of what do we eat for dinner? How do we order food? How do we check into a different hotel every night? So we did it because we wanted simple. And the more we looked at his travel videos, the more we realized, let's be brave. Let's not take a cruise. Let's take that next step and travel and do real travel.
Yeah.
So, Carrie's getting impatient with me because I'm not cycling through the comments fast enough. So let's see. What is the key? Oh, Queen Mary 2. Yeah. Tommy says, if you can do the QM2, do it. Yeah, that would be amazing.
Yes.
Is that the one in Long Beach, California? No, that's the Queen.
That's the one that goes across, transatlantic.
Okay, I'm thinking of the Queen. Yeah. Okay, I'm thinking of my friend Darian says, I love cruising, especially the food that includes ice cream too. I've cruised on Veracruz Cruise Line and many Carnival and Royal Caribbean. So he's one of those ones that doesn't stick. I think because of loyalty points and perks, I think most people tend to find one cruise line and stick to it.
Right.
You don't want to give up your status.
At least a lot of people that have diamond and silver and
and
all that, they don't want to give up their status. Yeah.
There's a lot of perks that come with it, so I don't blame them. But I understand.
And we have a very special guest on the trail right now. My friend, my former student, who has outpaced anything I ever could imagine for him. Zach Bridges is in the chat right now. Love you, Zach. Zach plays in the Army band in Washington, D.C.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Zach is part of Pershing's band.
Nice.
So he's Mr. Big Time, and I could not be prouder of Zach. And Zach and his wife actually we were talking to them the other day, and they're thinking about doing a cruise. And so hopefully they can get some good answers to this. Zach, if you didn't hear the beginning of the conversation, make sure you watch from the beginning again. Yeah. Let's see. Mark Wolters, my buffets are my downfall on cruises. We can add just a few thousand calories each meal by accident. Yeah.
There are worse things, right?
I'm not joking when I say 10 pounds every cruise.
Yeah.
And you try to be good, and you try not to. We had a big old jump here. We try not to go crazy with all of the. We did fall way behind, didn't we?
Yep.
We try not to go crazy with eating, but it definitely gets to you. There's too much temptation. 3 a.m. ice cream. Let's see. Tommy Dotson. Thought you were going to say your favorite cruise line was USN. We took USNS. There was, I don't know what USN is. Are you familiar with USN?
I'm not.
Oh, United States Navy?
Yes.
Oh.
Darren is in the Army.
Yes.
He's retired military.
There you go.
There you go. Let's see. Talk about the cruises. Probably all the extra focus. So you're telling us they're focused on making money. Let's see.
Yeah.
We have Lori Sims in the house. Hi, Lori. Good to see you joining us today. Thank you so much. Mark Wolters says, I always recommend if you go to a cruise port that there is something you really want to see, pre-book a local guide, and go with your own instead of the cruise bus tour. Thank you. We haven't even talked about excursions yet.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, that's kind of the point of going.
Our first cruise that we took, that 20th anniversary cruise, we latched on and made some really good friends who were they were cruisers, and they could tell us from the time we sat down up on the Lido deck with them, and they said, oh, hey, you're seasick? Here's our sea bands. You can go get these. And I mean, they took us under their wing and everything. And even to this day, they still will say, hey, if you ever go here, we know this guy who is a great, guide, and you can book him personally, and he'll take you here, and he'll treat you good. It's always good to, especially if you find some place that you really want to go, and you can find a really good guide on your excursion. We went on an excursion that was so much nicer than if we'd have booked anything through Carnival. When we were in Jamaica one time.
Ricardo Raley with Liberty Travels, Liberty Tours in Jamaica. He took us to the Blue Hole, which is just an amazing oasis, jumping off cliffs and everything. It was incredible. And that kind of is you can't book that through Carnival or any cruise port. It's actually a little dangerous because of all the jumping off. So it's not a cruise sanctioned thing. But they set us up with this, they say, you got to try this. It's so much better than what you can get booking through Carnival. And that raises the other thing that I want to talk about is for anybody wanting to cruise, when you do decide what a day and time in a ship, the first thing you should do is go to Facebook, type in like Carnival Vista, August 2022 or whatever it's going to be, and see if there's a cruise group. Yes, there's larger groups like Galveston Carnival Cruisers, and there's Royal Caribbean groups on Facebook, but where you really get some amazing information and friendship is by joining the smaller cruises for that individual cruise. That's where you meet the people that will eventually become your friends because you're living with them basically for 7 days. Right. And we on every cruise we've taken, we've made friends that we're still friends with today. We still communicate with them. And we met them through the cruise groups. And hey, Mary Ellen, hey, James, hey, Gina, all those people. We met them through the cruise groups. and we kind of just latched onto each other and hung out. And sometimes we were the experienced cruiser helping the inexperienced cruiser.
Yes.
Sometimes with our friends Gina and James, they were the ones that showed us the ropes, and they showed us how to have a good time. And you meet those people through your individual Facebook groups. So let's cycle through the comments a little bit more here. We're just chatting. Stuart Ross says cruises is like a floating all-you-can-eat and drink buffet by the sounds of some. Yeah, basically that's a good way to describe it. It's not nonstop eating.
Yes.
Some of the shows are amazing. We love. I don't know if Royal Caribbean has this. Do they have the Love and Marriage show?
Oh, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
It's hysterical.
That is something that we always, nowadays you get on the cruise ship and you have your app and you can like sit there and say, I want to do this at this time. You can make all your plans.
Exactly.
Marriage, I think, is the very first thing we ever put on our schedule.
Oh, it's so hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Especially if you get a great.
We're never going to be a contestant. We just want to watch.
But wouldn't it be funny if you were? Now, Love and Marriage, for those aren't familiar, is basically like the Newlywed Game.
Yeah.
And they'll pick a newly married couple, preferably like a newlywed.
Mhm.
They'll have they'll do a questionnaire and find out which couple's been married the longest, and then somebody in between.
Yes.
And so they'll have 3 couples, and especially if you get a great cruise director who really knows how to bring out the most of a show.
Mhm.
We've been on a cruise twice with the great Lee Mason, and Lee Mason is this amazing, fun, energetic cruise director ever.
Mhm.
So entertaining. And Lee just, I would pay money to see that show, and I don't pay it for a lot of extra things on a cruise.
Yes.
Let me see here. Oh, here's a great question. You have a fan. Our friend Darren says, do Josh and Laura have a YouTube channel?
We do not.
No, we do not. But
This guy's talked about it, though.
it's something.
You better watch out. Peer pressure's a real
Yes,
thing.
it is. It is.
Darren is the reason why we have a YouTube channel.
You're like, honesty time.
We did a 15-minute live stream from the side of the Grand Canyon. And Darren's like, that was so great. You need to do more of those. Okay, another question from Lori. Aside from the huge cruise ships, have you taken any of the Windstar sail ships?
Oh, good question.
We have not. We've only done the medium large to enormous cruise ships on Carnival. But have you had any experience on any sail ships or any desires?
No.
There's obviously, there's tons of sail ships you could go on out there. The cool thing about sail ships is that they aren't, they have, the electric to be able to run the motor, but they also have the sails. And so you can learn how to sail, which is really cool. I've taken the smallest Royal Caribbean ships before, but I've never taken a sailboat.
For me, honestly, I worry a lot about the motion sickness for that. So that's something.
The closest we came was we went to San Diego when I bought my old classic car. It came from San Diego, and we took a sunset sailboat out on that harbor around San Diego, and it was wonderful. It was amazing. Wow. But like you said, it was a sailboat, but they just ran off electric motors.
Right, exactly, right.
There was no sailing to it, but because it was a sunset cruise, it was really neat. Yeah. So Mark Wolters says, I did a coastal cruise in Croatia, had only 200 passengers. It was very different than the 2,000 people ferry. Oh yeah, it's like doing a cruise with 200 people. I don't know how long his cruise was, but if it was 7 days, you probably feel like you just see the same people over and over again.
Yeah,
that's true.
And which is a good thing, because you kind of become a little bit of a family. I didn't mean for that to sound bad.
Right.
One thing that's funny is just about every cruise we've been on, these Facebook groups, I've eventually end up basically running the group. I don't know why, either co-running or running the group or starting the group.
You guys know why.
So by the time the cruise happens, everybody knows me so well, especially because, like Josh, we're easy to spot in a crowd. Because we're so much taller than everybody else. It's kind of funny being on a cruise ship with 3,000 people, and every 10, 15 minutes somebody comes, hey, it's Mark!
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Like if I'm ever like in the middle of a crowd and I can't find Josh, I'm like, oh, where's the tallest human in here?
That's me.
Machae says we are booked on Odyssey from Rome. Can you read these two? Are you seeing these?
Yes. We are.
Okay, good. I don't know if you can see them or not. June 22nd, our Alaska cruise is June expected to cancel. Yeah, Alaska ain't going to happen. We actually do have a cruise booked for August, which we are trying to reschedule for December 31st of 2022.
Yes.
We're gonna put it off as long as possible and hope the world returns back to normal. We've got so many other vacations we want to take that flying, that cruising to return back to normal, especially when it comes to not being able to get off at certain ports.
Right.
Right now, if you take a cruise, there's no guarantee you'll be able to get off the ship anywhere.
You cruise to nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah, cruise to nowhere. Yeah. Brian says, I like to cruise for cruise, and the ports are just a nice perk. Cruising is a pretty blah way to see a destination, with a few exceptions, Panama Canal, Alaska, etc.
That's kind of us too.
Yeah.
We're kind of like that.
For sure.
I can agree with that. Some ports, I did not have a good time in Belize. I did not have a good time in Costa Maya. Yeah. I've been to Cozumel 4 times. I'm tired of Cozumel.
Right.
But there's some experiences like the Stingray Beach in Grand Cayman. Or the Blue Hole in Jamaica. If you find that right excursion,
and they're great.
Now that was pretty cool. Yeah, that was worth going. But yeah, you have to find the right excursion. Belize, we had a horrible experience in Belize, which I won't even go into right now. Yeah. Costa Maya was just boring.
Yes.
Yeah, our excursion got canceled in Costa Maya.
Yeah, so. in Roatan, the cruise we're supposed to take in August. We're looking forward to doing the sloths. The sloths hang all over and everything. So
right,
you just can't get in America.
Yeah.
Right.
Lori Sims agrees with me. Mark Wolters gives us all more confidence to travel internationally. Mm-hmm. Mark is a teacher. He's a marketing professor at the University of Illinois in Champaign, and he because he's a teacher, he teaches. He knows whether it's marketing or whether it's travel. He knows how to put that information out there in an entertaining, just so well presented, but fun. And Mark is incredible, and I love him to death. And I don't know if you've seen many of his videos or not, but if you ever decide to break out and do something other than cruises, he would be the one to use as that major resource. So Mark is incredible. Let's see. So, oops, hold on. Got another pop-up window here. All right. Zach, there's Zach. So let's see. We are still going comments. Oh, wow. That jumped. Wow. You start to scroll down. You think you can scroll down this much. All of a sudden it passes like 90 comments. Zach says, all thanks to you. Oh, well, I taught Zach in junior high. I may have given him a little bit of a start, but everything he's done since junior high has been all Zach Bridges.
That's all on him, yeah.
But I tell you what, he was the first junior high student I ever put the Vaughan Williams tuba concerto in front of.
Hey, wow. I know that one. I'm not even a tuba player.
Yeah. And I helped him buy his first tuba. I helped him try it. I didn't pay for it, but he helped him try it out. Convinced his parents that it was a good purchase in 8th grade. How many 8th graders have their own tuba, and it's not a stupid decision? It was a great decision for Zach, and I'm always proud of being a small part of Zach's development. So anyway, so let's see. Tommy Dawson, about Machae, certainly almost Alaska's out. We have another friend who cruises. Alaska's not going to happen. That is one cruise I'd love to. Alaska, I'd love to do with a group of friends, like our Wolters World community or something. I would love to do an Alaskan cruise with them because we have such a good time. You can see we're just hanging out here to be able to see the Alaska stuff, but still spend time with friends. That's the ideal vacation, I think.
Exactly.
Mark says trying to be good is only gaining 5 pounds. Exactly right.
Hard to do.
Let's see here. Darren says, everyone, please don't forget to hit the like. Thank you. That's you can see I'm a newbie YouTuber. I forgot to tell everybody to hit like, ring that bell, do the subscribe, all that stuff. Wow. I feel like a real YouTuber now.
Yeah, right?
Mark reminded everybody. Thank you. Machae says, this would have been our 4th Alaskan cruise. Sad, but not totally devastated. It was to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. And, that's, I'm not taking nothing away from Machae, but if it was your first cruise to Alaska, your first cruise, you build yourself up for the first thing, then yeah, that's the fourth one. Sure, you might love it, but yeah, there's so many other domestic. Of course, Alaska is domestic. I know that, of course, but yeah. We were supposed to go to Europe for our 25th, and that didn't happen. So now we hopefully will go for our 27th. Basically, we can keep pushing, moving that ball back. So I'm wondering what Machae is going to do instead of the 25th anniversary, if she has Plan B. Mark Wolters likes to say, "I'm the king of Plan B, Plan C,
Plan E."
I will do spreadsheets of travel plans, and literally I might have 10, 12 different plans. Well, this happens, I'll do this.
How many windows do you have open in your Word on your computer?
On Word, well, this is just different cruises I'm doing. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 8 different Word documents up right now, just planning different cruises and different itinerations. Let's see. This will be if we get to go to New York. This is Europe next year with and without New York. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Let's see.
That's his. What do we call them? Their COVID project. What
making your bucket list.
He's been doing that for the last year.
Vacation.
Maybe he should take that TA class that
maybe. Brian says our COVID canceled vacation 2020 was going to be transatlantic from Dover to New York City.
That would have been
amazing. And transatlantic, of course, it's all sea days.
Right.
So there might be a stop somewhere in Newfoundland or something, but
like Halifax or something.
Yeah, somewhere like that. But yeah, that would be the kind of cruise that for somebody who didn't understand that sea days can be interesting.
Yes.
They'd probably just run screaming out of the room. They would want to have no part of it.
Right.
That would probably be fun.
No, it would be, especially with friends. There's a Carnival cruise that leaves out of Long Beach. It's a cruise to Hawaii and back.
Yep.
It takes 2 weeks.
Yep.
It's like 3-4 days to get there. You travel around all the islands, 3 or 4 days to get back. But you get back for 14 days. I think it makes one stop in Mexico or something. But yeah, it's a lot of sea days there.
Yes.
Okay. Stuart says my first cruise was at secondary school around the Mediterranean, Egypt, to see the. Stuart lives over there. I believe he's in England. So yeah.
What a way to get into cruising.
Exactly.
Let's see. Oh, there it is. Oh, I found you. I didn't even.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I was going to post it later. He found your wow, and he left the link in the comments.
There you go.
Blaine, you the man.
Blaine is the man.
Well, Blaine is the man. Wow.
Man. Well, thank you. That's so cool. It's on my website. So if you want to search around, go for it.
Yeah. And by the way, if y'all are interested, Blaine does a lot of cruise talk and travel talk on his channel and his Facebook page, Raley Creative Travel. So make a note of that, and it's a great community. So think about joining that cruise. Let's see.
Cool.
Tommy says, question for near future. Once cruising begin, will you get the opportunity? For near future. So basically they're asking, as soon as you are able, are you ready to get back on a ship, or are you waiting for a certain time?
Yeah, here.
Okay, sorry. He there we go. There we go. Try that one. Yeah, it looks like he started again. Okay.
Like hit enter to.
Yeah, we own shore excursion ship sponsored. Yeah, we're doing that. So that's what I was saying. So because of COVID, they're not allowing as many independent cruises. You have to go on a Carnival sanctioned excursion that's babysat by Carnival people to make sure you don't get exposed to anybody.
Yes.
And of course, they're going to be more expensive and limited selection. So that's another reason I'm ready to reschedule my August cruises. Even if they are cruising, I booked that so far before pre-COVID. I can literally say this is not what I signed up for.
Yes.
So
that's true. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm afraid it's gonna
that might
be how it is.
Permanent in a way.
Be how it is. Yeah.
I mean, with all the things going on, they may just not allow third parties in or contractors rather. In very often.
Very little.
Yeah. They want. I know Royal Caribbean says they want those people who are running those tours to follow all of the same protocols that they're following on the ships. And so if they're not doing that and they can't trust that person legally, then they're not going to hire them. And so the only people that they do trust are people that they hire. And so, right. And so the good thing about those Royal Caribbean or those Carnival excursions, one really good thing about them is, and one, reason to book them, which is helpful, is that, like, let's say your excursion runs late or you are in traffic on the way back from your excursion.
The ship will wait.
The ship will wait.
That's true.
As we've all seen people left at the port.
And they're like,
right? Terrifying. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being stuck in like some foreign city? You don't even have a hotel. You don't even have like your phone, or like you maybe have your passport.
That's way too much stress.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So that is the protection there, is that if there's something going on, the ship can communicate with those people.
Yeah.
So therefore the ship will gladly wait. And that happens. That happens pretty often. And so I'd say more than not, we're late leaving than we are on time.
Yeah. When we were in Jamaica, our driver was just driving insane. It was crazy, weaving in and out. And I thought, okay, if we get in an accident, even a minor one, are we going to make it back to the ship in time? So it's definitely a concern. Okay, Machae says cave tubing in Belize was amazing because I was bad mouthing Belize. I hear that is a nice excursion in Belize, and our next cruise we're supposed to go to Belize, and I'd certainly try that. We went on a island excursion out to Goff's Cay, and it was terrible. It was terrible. We sat on the back of a boat. I literally had salt water spraying in my face for 30 minutes. To get there. I mean, it's just the spray from the boat was just pelting me with salt water for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
You get out to the island, it's not that nice. The food is terrible. It's just a bad beach. And then on the way back, I thought, okay, I'm going to sit in a different part of the boat.
Right.
So I eyeballed the part of the boat where the water wasn't spraying. Right. I sat down, my son sat down, and right before we took off, one of the boaters, whatever, looked at me and says, will you trade places with this lady? They want us to trade places with this pregnant lady. And what am I going to do? Say no?
Exactly.
Right. So guess what? I was being sprayed with salt water the entire way back.
Yep.
So, yeah. Let's see. Let's cycle through some comments here. Our first cruise, which almost became our last, was on Windjammer's Barefoot Cruises Fantome. I don't have my glasses. A big sailing ship, but it took a while before I convinced my wife to do a real cruise.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see here. Zach says, I love it. Ryan asked Machae about cave tubing. Yeah, literally, Ryan, that's exactly what it sounds like. You're in a big inner tube and you're going through caves and water. It's supposed to be pretty fun. Some people might look at that. Well, that sounds really boring because it's just slow tubing. But it's definitely something you don't get many other places.
Well, my wife is a kind of a safety nut, so she's kind of hesitant about that one. So
I just wonder what's in the water.
I would love to.
You know how deep it might be. What's in the water? My dad was a risk manager when I was growing up, and so I always blamed my dad. But he always told us, like, "Hey, do this and hey, do that, and make sure you don't watch this, make sure you don't watch that." So I tend to be a little bit of a safety freak, honestly. But there's insurance. That's good. But yeah, no,
Zach Bridges says any mock itineraries. Now, how I put itineraries together for regular vacations, not cruising, is I just watch a ton of YouTube videos and start checking those boxes about things I want to see. I research, trains or transportation, how long does it get from place A to place B. Right. I know how long it takes Terry and I to get through the average museum. We're not 8 hours in a museum type of people, We're 2 or 3 hours. So to see a museum, we know is a half day for us. That's just the way we roll. And I have my Word documents with different boxes and all this stuff. And I just start putting days and I put everything I want to do and then start just dragging it up to boxes and putting it in an order of things I want to see. But I would say, depending on where you're going, of course, Wolters World, Mark Wolters has so many videos on so many places in the world. He actually hasn't been to Hawaii yet. He's actually going to be in Hawaii the exact same week we are, but on a different island, which drives me crazy. It's like one of my best friends, Mark Wolters, is going to be on a different Hawaii island, but because of the COVID island hopping rules, we can't go see him.
Oh my God!
I know he's going to be on Maui. We're going to be on Oahu.
The Big Island, yeah.
The Big Island is technically Hawaii because it's the one with the big volcanoes. Oahu is the one with Pearl Harbor.
That makes sense.
So anyway, so are you struggling through the comments? Machae's Plan B. Oh, this is for her 25th anniversary. 2.5-week trip through the Northern California, Oregon coast, touching on Washington D.C. Mount St. Helens. Well, that's wonderful. That's great.
That sounds nice.
Always need to have a Plan B. We had Plan B, Plan C, Plan D for our 25th anniversary that got canceled. So
and our what we did instead of that was we just took a big road trip around the United States, and we went, Pittsburgh. We went and saw the Wolters at their home. We went through Virginia. We went through North Carolina and Tennessee. We just took a huge road trip, and we felt like we were pretty safely. Safely distanced from everybody, except in Gatlinburg. Gatlinburg was crowded.
Yeah.
Let's see. Blaine does do a bunch of cruise info. That's right. Blaine's definitely a cruise expert, and a lot of cruise talk on his channel. So please check out his channel.
Okay.
Let's see. Ryan said he'd never heard of cave tubing, but he says it sounds interesting. And Blaine says, "Thanks, buddy. I can't wait to do even more of it since I started a channel during the pandemic." Wolters World, I think Mark has inspired us all to do so many things, and we've learned so much from his channel that we want to help other people too. And that's exactly what we're doing. We have a different. Mark's been traveling. Mark went to high school as a transfer student in Australia in high school. Yeah, Australia. Yeah, remember the Australian accent thing?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so and we're exact opposite. I'm over 50 years old, and I've never taken a plane ride over 4 hours in my life. So we're the newbie travelers who are just figuring this stuff out as empty nesters. So we want to help other people who are maybe in the same boat as us. Now, we realize you're the opposite end of it, but since Josh's story and my story were so similar to each other, I thought it'd really be fun to share those experiences.
Definitely.
Tommy says, "Hey, Blaine, can you cruise down to Baskin Robbins and get in the green?" Different kind of cruise, Tommy.
Yeah, right? I'm down.
To pay for that human person, though. Yeah.
Stuart says the best part of the cruise was to see Tutankhamun gold inside the Museum of Egypt in Via Fez. I bet that was amazing. Yeah. I'm not going to say Egypt's on our bucket list because there's so many other places in the world that we haven't been to, but I can see definitely someday doing that. As long as it's safe, and that's the thing. I don't want to go anywhere that's like a war zone, and who knows what Egypt's going to be 10 years from now.
Right.
Yeah.
Peer runners make a great story. Well, not so much for the peer runners.
Yes.
I remember one time being in Cozumel, looking at, and y'all are familiar with the Cozumel Pier. It just goes on forever.
Yeah.
And we saw somebody like an hour late walking. And I yelled as loud as I could, "Run, Doug!" We wanted to see him run.
For real.
So inconsiderate,
Yeah.
So many ideas for post-COVID. Want to do lives while walking the street of Europe. Yeah, Mark was in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago, and he did a live stream on his mobile phone walking the streets of Las Vegas, and it was really cool. But his comments weren't coming in on his mobile for some reason. So once we realized he couldn't see the comments, so he wasn't interacting with anybody, I was texting him the questions that people were popping up.
Right, the communicator
would pop up, so I would text him the message, and he would answer the question. We made it work, so got him through that. Okay, Mark hopped off to spend some time with his kid, and that was wonderful. We really appreciate him and Jocelyn being here. They're the best people in the world. We love them to death. Okay, everybody's saying goodbye to Mark and Jocelyn. Let's see. Lori says, "See you, Mark. More by Mark. Please do more live works and walk Wolters." Yeah, look, it was fun. It was definitely fun. Zach says, "Looking forward to checking out the earlier portion night, guys. Thanks for the great info." Zach, go practice. Just kidding. You don't need it. If you subscribe to the Army Band's channel, Zach is the one that usually posts the videos of the tuba does this or whatever. They do a lot of educational videos. And that's Zach, and he's an amazing guy and a great player. And he and his wife have been nice enough to let me stay with them a couple times when I've gone to Washington, D.C. for like the Army conference and things like that. And obviously didn't this year, but hopefully again soon.
Yes.
And let's see. So Blaine says, "Laugh out loud, Tommy Donson." And we are caught up. I will. Wolters World did 2 lives walking around Schweifert, Germany. Fun. Yeah. And Darren has been to Germany 2 or 3 times a year for quite a while, and it's just killing him. That
he's in withdrawal badly.
Yeah, as of this September, I think it'll be 2 years since he's been to Germany. Maybe November, and yeah, it's getting close. And I tried to do my best to help him out when he was here.
Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, we went to all these German restaurants and German markets and tried to get down to Fredericksburg, but that's when the ice hit. So we had to cancel our Fredericksburg plans and postpone them because he's coming back in June with his lovely family, and we're going to do the whole thing over again, except this time with the families. So it'll be amazing. Let's see. Stuart says, worst entertainment you have ever had on a cruise or best entertainment you've ever had on. Great question, Stuart.
Let them answer first.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good question.
For us, I mean,
oh, that's a good one.
It's also different that it's really hard to judge it. I will say on Royal Caribbean, I don't think I've ever walked out of a show. I don't think I've ever wanted to just leave an event, whether it was entertainment or a game night or whatever it was. Yeah. I've never wanted to just leave, but the entertainment's great.
Yeah, because,
we walked out before.
Really?
We're the kings of walking out of shows.
Hey, we've just never had that temptation.
You don't want to waste your time.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, they have from water shows to aristocratic shows, like dancing and in the air and like what else? Comedians, obviously those are fun.
They try to do like Broadway type shows.
And, Elton John type of shows.
And Cirque du Soleil type shows.
Mm-hmm.
There've been some comedians that were kind of like
they were okay.
Meh,
Yeah. They weren't like our favorite, but I would say musician-wise, we've never been like, we're good.
All the shows were, all the shows were pretty good. Yeah.
Most of the cover bands are really good on Carnival. Now, I'll say this, even though I said I walked out of cruises, our first 2 cruises, the Carnival shows were bad. They were typical cheese, like you'd see at the Southern Palace at Six Flags or something. It was just, it was low-level cheese. Yeah. But we went back for our 3rd cruise. Oh my God, such a difference. Yeah. It was they got somebody who came to them and said, this is crap. Yeah. But we can fix it. Yeah. And they put some shows together now that are like, this is actually cool. This makes me want to see it 2 nights in a row, the same show. Or actually what they do is they'll have a series of shows where you almost feel like you have to see every one of them because every one has something to do with a different one. And it kind of gives you something forward to look to every single night. It's like, okay, that was really good. We can't wait to see what they do tomorrow night. Yeah. It's not the same show for all 7 nights. It's like 5 different shows in 7 nights.
Right.
And they've really upped their game. And they probably had to because of competition from other places.
Personally, I would say my favorite was the aquatic show on Oasis.
Yes. So they have a diving pool.
An aqua theater.
Yeah.
Aqua theater. It's amazing. So it has stadium seating. Yeah. And there was actually a woman on there from North Texas. So we were like, yay, go North Texas. And they have these like giant diving boards that are so tall. And a part of you is like, oh my gosh.
One guy did a dive,
50 feet up, at least.
Had to be.
It was crazy. But that pool is like, 25 feet deep, and so they're okay. They're trained for that, but they have a whole act and everything, and we were just like, wow.
That's been probably my favorite one. Yeah,
which is amazing. The ice shows are always really good. Yeah, they freak you out a little bit because people are hanging from the ceiling and they're doing all the flips, but not like the typical flips you would see in like the Olympics.
Yeah. Machae's logging off. Bye, Machae. Thanks for joining us.
I think being music people, he and I gravitate to a lot of the bands that play. Like I said, we gravitated to our first group to that, the Filipino band. And you called out anything that was 60s, 70s, 80s.
They knew them all.
Yes.
They knew it all. You couldn't throw anything in their hat that they didn't know. Or if they didn't know it, they said, we don't know that, but we do know this. Something similar, and it's like, it was amazing. The last cruise, we went almost nightly to watch a country duo.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about them.
That just did a whole bunch of country music songs and and things like that. And there was another band that we watched that was kind of Chicago-esque. They had a horn section with them and stuff. Yeah. Blaine's right. Carnival does have some awesome violin players. We have some of the violinists in the atrium and stuff like that too. And
sometimes it'll be a string duo. Sometimes it'll just be somebody with a guitar. And the instrumentalists on these cruise ships are top notch. What I found frustrating in the beginning days of cruising was how cheesy and amateurish and almost insulting the shows were. It was, like I say, it reminded me of going to the Southern Palace in the 80s. It was not good. Machae said she walked out of a show on Princess, wasn't impressed by their entertainment. Well, Princess was part of Carnival, so they probably kind of got from the same pool of talent.
Exactly.
Blaine says, "Words of wisdom. Don't raise your hand when the comedian asks a question. Sit in the front. You'll be the center." Have you ever been to a comedy show on a cruise ship?
Oh my gosh. Yes. And if you laugh out loud, you'll also be the center of attention. Hysterical.
Did you go to the family friendly show or the late night show?
Yes, to both. It's so funny. There was one time when there was a lady or a man, I don't know who it was, but this person was like laughing hysterically at these jokes. So it was like joke, ha 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 ha, and the person would laugh over everyone. And so then they were the center of attention. It was hysterical. The comedian loved it, so it worked.
We're trying to sit towards the back.
We do. We hide a little bit.
Draw attention to
I think we went to one with James and Gina one time, and they wanted to sit in the front row.
Yeah.
And we were like, "Oh yeah, sure."
Oh, bless your hearts.
Exactly.
Please say hi to Jocelyn Wolters.
Hello.
I love Jocelyn. Jocelyn's amazing. She has her own. You'd like this. Laura does a lot of baking and a lot of cooking, and she has her own cooking channel on.
Jocelyn does.
It's a cooking channel, but it's also lifestyle kitchen tips, food of the world. It's a lot of things. Most of it's revolved around food, and Simply Jocelyn is amazing. Jocelyn is amazing, obviously, so her channel is going to be amazing.
Right.
But Jocelyn, she did me the honor of letting me do a video with her while she was in town. We did a video on making Texas-sized Reese's peanut butter cups.
We've had that from you.
Was that?
We've had your recipe from that.
Haven't you? Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, so it's a YouTube video now, and I keep checking it every once in a while to see if it's gone viral yet.
Right?
Hasn't gone viral yet. I'm waiting. Hello.
Waiting for it to be in an egg form. Reese's eggs.
Oh, Reese's eggs. Yes. Jocelyn loves Reese's eggs as much as we love Reese's in general. So, Jocelyn, we have a video coming out on Tuesday morning. And we get a Reese's. We put a Reese's egg mention in there for you, and
just for you.
Terry actually went to the store today and took video of a Reese's egg.
My cart, and that was my B-roll for the video.
Yes. So, it's like, what does eggs have to do with credit cards? But you'll see. Check us out on Tuesday morning. So, anyway, wow. Let's see. Raley says, I've made fun of I got made fun of my honeymoon in 2007 for being at a late night show. He's like, why are you here when you're on your honeymoon? I think you should be in the room right now. That's
terrible.
We're laughing hard because on our honeymoon, we went to Chicago and we went to Wrigley Field for our honeymoon. And long story short, my mom works for the Rangers at the time. She sent a notice to the press release to the press box saying that Mark and Terry Finley were at the Cubs game on their honeymoon. Well, that notice got to Harry Carey, the famous Cubs announcer, Hall of Fame baseball announcer. And if you do a YouTube search for "Chastised by Harry Carey," Harry Carey's on national television calling us out by name for being at a Cubs game on our honeymoon.
Oh, that's so adorable.
Blaine, we feel your pain.
We got blasted by Harry Carey. and it is on YouTube. Obviously, I saved that videotape and uploaded it years later because this was 1995.
YouTube wasn't a thing then. So
that's another thing. The only video on my other channel I have that has ever become viral is part of the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson from like the late '80s. It's Thomas Wilson, who's the actor from Biff on Back to the Future, playing the tuba on the Tonight Show, doing tuba comedy.
Oh my gosh!
And I saved that videotape for decades and put it on YouTube. And I contacted Thomas Wilson himself. Biff. I contacted Biff, and I said, I have this tape. Do you mind if I post it? He said, post it? I've never even seen it. I want it. He wrote me back. And I think he's still my Facebook friend. I have to check. He doesn't post much anymore. But so I got to share with him a video of him playing. Oh, Blaine posted the video. You're fast with those comments, Blaine. Yep. Blaine posted the video. He found it. I got to share with him a video of him on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. It was his first Tonight Show appearance back in the '80s, and I got to share that with him. So I always thought that was pretty cool. It's like, wow, that would be pretty cool for a pretty famous actor that then now have a copy of his appearance on the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Anyway, what do we got here? Escaping the Empty Nest. Tomorrow's the day the spaghetti ice Texas style comes out. Yes. So just like we made a video with Jocelyn for Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Do you know what spaghetti ice is? Have you ever heard of spaghetti ice? Is a dessert in Germany. They take gelato, German ice cream, and they make it in the form of spaghetti.
They put it in a press.
Oh, I mean, you say ice cream or gelato.
It looks like spaghetti. They put whipped cream, put it over whipped cream. They put strawberry sauce on the top. It looks just like a plate of spaghetti.
That's my kind of spaghetti, man. That's great.
Darren is the king of spaghetti ice. He's always talking about spaghetti ice, and we love him for it. And so we made Texas style spaghetti ice while he was here with Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah.
The classic.
So that video is coming out tomorrow. Yeah. And thank you, Blaine, for posting that link to the Chastised by Harry Carey video.
That's fun.
And wow, we are caught up with the comments. Well, we have kept y'all way too long, but real quick, let's look through our comment sheet real quick.
I think the only thing that we didn't ask was, Laura, since you do travel agent stuff, have you heard much about cruising during COVID or things coming up? Because I know we still see Carnival cruises that, May just got canceled. All of the May cruises got canceled. Right. So is there things that as a travel agent that you see or anything about the cruise industry coming up?
So basically, the cruise industry obviously has to have CDC approval to be able to start cruising. And to be able to get CDC approval, they have to have test cruises to test out those, theories and rules and strategies. And so like Royal Caribbean, I know, is sending out test cruises and by your, level of status, you get more likelihood that you'll be on it if you want to, if you sign up, but you have to actively sign up for it. And so those have not began. They're anticipating those to begin in December as like an actual solid date. And I think they took that, from the news that we're hearing today, that will be the time when it starts to return back to normal. But getting that CDC approval is the biggest thing first. Mm-hmm. And then there's things, like how Canada and also Alaska kind of cut all of the waters off to the United States until February 2022.
Yeah, a year.
So that's kind of the cruise lines are working with the Canadian government to be able to see if there can be some type of special permission because it's tourist, it's a tourist attraction, right. And that gives them revenue, as Canadian waters. And so honestly, I can't really tell you a date like when to expect to cruise again. I do know that, for future cruise credits for Royal Caribbean, they're now saying you can add them however long you want to a certain extent. I think the cutoff right now is April 30th of 2022 right now, but you can just add them. It used to be that you had to book a cruise and then go on the cruise, and then you could use more future cruise credit. But now you can just add all of them as if they're gift cards, which is wonderful. I think it should have been that way, but I understand from the business perspective, of course. So I will say right now is the time to book a cruise, and the reason why is because it's very inexpensive.
Right.
Like, for example, we have to cancel this cruise, unfortunately, but we had a 14-night European cruise. We were going to go to 5 countries.
Oh,
5 countries.
Yeah.
I think I remember when you booked, we talked about that. Yeah.
Well, and we have to cancel it because we have some family weddings going on.
My sister's getting married. Yeah.
Yes, we're just excited.
That's great.
Yes, she's getting married that Saturday, and so it's not a big deal to us. We're like, there will be more European cruises.
Yeah,
right. And so we'll just rebook it. But basically, that's what our future cruise was, and that cruise, it costed as much as our honeymoon did. But it was 2 weeks instead of 1, and going to 5 to 6 different countries. And so that's just one example of a bargain deal right now that you can get for booking. Now, I know for Royal Caribbean, you can't book beyond 2022 right now. They're like sort of talking about 2023 with certain destinations, but they're not talking about it, at least with Europe. And so we're just going to end up waiting until everything kind of normalizes, and then we'll rebook. But yeah, no, I can't really see a foreseeable future. I'm thinking like maybe 2022, you know?
Yeah.
That's, President Biden says, when December arrives, we should be back to normal, but back to normal is very relative to us.
Every year has a December in it.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It depends on what the context was. And so, but that's all that I know. I mean, I know that they are not planning on having full capacity. So I don't know the percentage of what they are planning, but they're not planning 100%.
Yeah.
All the buffets are gone. You have robotic bars still, because there obviously are new humans involved. I don't know how it's going to work with like the bar, alcohol situation. I'm sure you're still going to be served, but there's probably a lot more protocol with cleaning off the counter and making sure those limes aren't too exposed and things like that.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, though it is the time to look at cruises. It sounds very different and kind of backwards.
Counterintuitive, but yeah.
We're booking for December 31st of 2022, mainly because we're hoping to get to Europe next year, and that's going to eat up just about all the vacation time she has. So if you go on December 31st, most of that cruise will go into her vacation for the following year.
Right? So you're like
Sunday, so literally it won't count against vacation days for next year at all. Which is and plus we think a New Year's Eve cruise might kind of be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, well, they're so right. I know my family and I went on a New Year's Eve cruise, and I was like, I think I was like 16 or something. So it was different. Obviously, I was much younger, but it was still fun for a teenager too. So I think it'd be a ton of fun now.
So Blaine asked, he said, how do you think they will eliminate these passengers to get to 50%? Every other interior room, since balconies get them more money. That's really a good point. I mean, yeah.
I think they're hoping that people will either say, no, I'm not comfortable going, or they might give them like a discount or maybe even more future cruise credit to book later.
For cruises that are already booked, certainly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so they might ask, are you taking a flight here? And if you are, they might say, okay, you're higher risk. So if you feel more comfortable with, and we feel more comfortable giving you more future cruise credit and booking at a later time when flights and everything has calmed down a little bit.
Do you follow a YouTube channel called Tips for Travelers with Gary Bembridge? Do you know who that is?
Yes, I've seen that a few times.
Yeah, British guy. He does almost daily updates on the cruise situation. So if Laura, if you're not familiar with Gary, he has his thumb on the pulse of exactly what's going on. Definitely check him out. And Mark Wolters recommends him too, and he's great.
Yeah.
As far as resources on the internet, every cruise line has their Galveston Carnival cruisers, Galveston Royal Caribbean cruisers, where people talk about moderately local issues. And then there's, of course, individual cruises. If you've got a cruise date in mind, definitely look to see if there's an individual. Have you ever done that? Have you done a cruise group, especially for the cruise that you're going to be on, that particular ship and boat and date?
I would have said yes. Yeah.
No.
Wow.
Did you know that those exist?
Honestly, I didn't even think about it.
Really?
So you learn something new.
They're big on Carnival. I kind of assumed that everyone has them,
Yeah.
but check it out next time you go on a cruise, because I think
Figure it out.
our most of our things have anywhere from 200 to 300 people. So literally 10% of the people on the boat are people that you've been interacting with for months.
Right.
And when I was in charge of these groups, I would have a thing called like First Timer Friday, where I encouraged first timers to ask any question, no matter how dumb they thought it was. Ask any question, and these people who are experienced cruisers will help you out. And it's really great. And you can organize events like meetings, get-togethers and stuff on the cruise. And sometimes if you write the captain, he'll find a space where you can have a little gathering for just the people in your cruise group. What
is it called? The hotel manager? What do they call it online? The hotel manager?
Maybe it is hotel.
We've contacted whoever's the cruise director, or like in Carnival's case, John Heald is their brand ambassador. We've contacted him, and he's contacted the ship, and they've been nice enough about arranging a space where we can meet these people that are in our groups
and offer door prizes too.
Too. So,
champagne, chips on a stick, all these special prizes. They've given us a whole basket full of prizes. To give away. And on one cruise, the cruise director came by and he said hi, and people were taking pictures with the cruise director. So next time you go on a cruise, check out Facebook for your ship plus the date and see if anything comes up. Now, 2 years in advance, nobody would have made the ship. Nobody would have made that group yet. But 6 months, certainly, there's going to be a group out there, and they are a lot of fun. It's a great way to get to know people, and it's like you're cruising with family, not a bunch of strangers.
Right.
So.
What's funny is that I knew you were mentioning, you meet people at dinner, you have a community. We actually went on our family cruise in May of 2019. So my mom and I went on my senior cruise when I was a senior in high school, and we were with this big table of 3 other families, and it was all groups of like 2 or 3 people. So it was like an 8 to 10 person table, and we met everybody from like Tennessee to Kentucky to Canada, and it was a ton of fun. And this couple who they were the Hendersons, and they were so much fun. They were from Nashville, I believe, Tennessee, and they were a ton of fun, and they were a young couple at the time. And so fast forward 10 years, literally, to May of 2019. I took that senior cruise in March of 2009, and so my mom and I spotted them at dinner. I saw them, and I was like, Mom, like, that's Pam, and that's the Hendersons. Like, how is that possible? And it happened. And so we went up to them and we were like, hey, and they knew exactly who we were.
Oh, that's good.
Right. And they had their little girl with them, and they told us all about, how they were wanting to have a family. And the husband was so funny. He got this guy cracking up. So
the husband has like a real Tennessee accent.
He does.
And I thought that was the best thing. So.
It was great. But you truly, whenever you meet people cruising, whether you meet them on Facebook beforehand, or you meet them on the ship, or wherever, you truly do see them again, and it's freaky, but it's really cool. It really is cool.
Definitely.
On our last cruise group, the short cruise, we met a lady through the cruise group who was on the cruise with her daughter, and she was basically saying she didn't have anybody to eat dinner with. She didn't know who she'd get paired up with. She didn't know if it's somebody who would get along with her daughter and stuff like that. So we said, we want to eat dinner with you. Please, let's get a table together.
Yeah, so we got our rooms linked so that we could be seated at the same
table. And we just had such a great time with her and her daughter. Just
spent a lot of the cruise with them.
Yeah, we did, and we'd watch. What movie did we watch? I can't even remember. It was.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I can't remember. They have the seaside movies on Carnival where you sit out and you watch movies under the stars, and it was so neat. Just it was like another little family member.
Yeah.
Well, and that's another thing about cruises, that the customer service to accommodate anything is pristine. I mean, it's
really good.
Crazy. By the end of the week, or maybe even by the middle of the week, actually, they're practically guessing what you want for dinner. That thing that you want, but you feel guilty eating.
And usually,
I'm impressed that they remember your name after the first time they serve you.
For real. And they're just amazing. And it's so cool to get to know them, from different countries. We've got people from, Great Britain to the Philippines to Jamaica, everywhere.
I think we had a server from Croatia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've always been amazing. I've never gotten really bad service on a cruise before.
No, yeah, we love having this. I guess it's this way on Royal Caribbean, where you have the same table every night, right?
Yeah. Yes.
And you just go and you sit down at your table. It's like, this is my table, and
Exactly.
they know what you want, and they know your likes and dislikes by the second night, and it's so nice to walk in and sit down like you own the place, and Walmart is the Walmart of cruising, but that is something they do right. Is they really make the dining experience feel like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is first class. This is a level of pampering
They really
the Texas boy doesn't get very often,
and it's included in your cost.
And it's completely free. Yeah, you can eat like a pig and eat fancy and lobster and all this kind of stuff, and it doesn't cost you a cent more. So
Exactly. Yeah. It's so funny to also hear other people's conversations. And they do like the end of the week dance and song, and they do celebrations. I did a Christmas cruise once, and they did all the celebrations from Hanukkah to Christmas. They did all the things.
Wow.
Thanksgiving, we also did the same thing, and they all like dressed in the hats like Columbus, and like you do when you're in kindergarten, and it's yes, and they all studied like the American history about it, and so then they said, well, we have this dish that represents this timeline because this was important, and so just really small touches that are super important.
Cool.
If anybody has any last minute questions for Josh or Laura, please ring in now, because I think we're about wrapped up. This has been amazing.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being a part of our first live stream.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
It was fun.
Great.
YouTube is addictive. And so I could definitely see, because you two have so much personality and y'all have so much fun with each other. So
I let her talk. So
me too.
There's always one partner that's overly talkative and one partner who lets them be overly talkative. But Mark Walters sent me a message. He had to log off. He sent me a message. He said, and I quote, "Terry is really a natural talking about cruising."
Oh, yeah. That's something I enjoy. I mean, he'll talk to you about everything else, but you get me on a subject that I really know a lot about and that I like, I can get very.
You want to share that knowledge, and that's huge. YouTube is all about with videos. So
only cost you bigger clothes. Blaine, I am running out of bigger clothes.
He really is.
You know that COVID-19 they talk about gaining weight. I think I'm on COVID-29 right now. Way too much at the house, snacking between lessons, between teaching.
Oh my gosh, I know.
That's the better thing about teaching your lessons on Zoom.
I'm way too close to the refrigerator.
But there are I get the dark chocolate and the popcorn and the cheese and the
I'm just thankful that I can go to work like in East Dallas and then not be near the refrigerator all day.
Far away from the refrigerator. Lori says, I really enjoyed tonight's chat. Josh and Laura were great.
Yes,
Josh and Laura are great.
They are great people. We love them.
And I miss seeing y'all at work.
We miss y'all.
I can say it was always nice being part of that private lesson teacher squad where you know that maybe third period there wouldn't be any lessons.
Yep, so you can chat. Exactly.
We could stand in that little hallway between the practice rooms and just yak.
Right.
And it was great. And I miss that.
Me too.
Private teaching from home has advantages and disadvantages, but that is one thing that I kind of miss is be able to have that social interaction. Yeah. So Darian, thank you so much for the compliment. Great chase. Escaping the empty nest. Y'all nailed it. So we were a little nervous about this. We weren't sure how this would turn out, but like I said, it's nice having somebody you can bounce off with and talk to and stuff. So
exactly.
Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for taking the time out of your evening for us.
It was great, and let's do this again sometime. If not if not a live stream, we can just have a Zoom chat sometime and talk.
Exactly. Yeah.
Someday we'll have you over for dinner to the new house.
Yes.
Yeah.
And your Arlington home.
It's the Arlington home, exactly.
Yes.
We used to live on the other side of Dallas, and now we're in Arlington, and it's I'll say this: the school that we all taught at together is over an hour away from me. So be able to dial in remotely and teach from the house is pretty nice. It is really nice not having to fight that traffic through downtown Dallas just to teach a private tuba lesson.
Yes.
So I'll admit to kind of enjoying that side of private teaching.
Wow.
So
if I was still commuting to Mansfield, I would think the same thing.
Oh yeah, man. Oh wow. Yeah, that's
yeah,
really,
that was a thing my first couple years. So yeah.
Wow.
Hometown vibes, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's been great. Let's see. Darren says, Josh and Laura, nice to meet you both.
Too, Darren.
Maybe when Darren comes to town with his family, maybe we can have like a local gathering.
That would be fun. Yeah.
We're at the house, and we'll make spaghetti ice.
We'll make spaghetti ice. Yeah.
Seriously, look up spaghetti ice on the internet. Ice is EIS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a pretty neat thing, and or Darren's channel, Magnificent Journey with Darren. You'll see it tomorrow on his channel if you look at it. I'll probably post it on my own Facebook page just because I'll be in it. So
Yeah.
Take care. Oh, Blaine, great interview. This has been awesome. Blaine, that's high praise from somebody who talks cruising all the time. If you enjoyed yourself, then that makes us feel really good because you talk cruising all the time, and Blaine does a lot of live streams. So anyway,
cool,
great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see y'all later. Take care. Bye. What? Video?
Video on Tuesday?
Oh, I already did. I'm doing an announcement. I'm doing a new video on Tuesday morning on using credit cards to enter the world of travel. For how to use credit cards to enter the world of travel. So that's coming out on Tuesday morning. So one more time, everybody, wave bye. Bye.
Bye.